the 35KY Sports Show with Jeff Lightsy Jr. right here on 93.9 The Ville.
What's going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? My name is Jeff Lightsy Jr., and you are tapped in with the 35KY Sports Show right here on 93.9 The Ville. We got Jeff Houston in the booth, James Black on the board, and we're here to talk about all things that's happening right here in the city of Louisville. And Jeff, it was a good day. It was a really good day to be me. You know what I mean? We got College Game Day as there at Jackson State. They were representing and celebrating HBCUs. And, my dear old high school got a good win over, the school in crimson and red that seems to be like 2 minutes walking from over here. We'll talk about that later and hear from the game's MVP, Daniel Sweeney, who had a really, really good game. Max Gainey with 2 touchdowns. But before I get to all of that, let's talk about a little bit of Louisville football, basketball, and everything in between. Also, we got some special guests. We got folks from Simmons, the HBCU right here in the city of Louisville, as well as Mark Spiegel from 502 Circle to talk all things NIL with our Louisville Cardinals. So we got a jam-packed show to get it all in this next hour from 10 to 11 right here on the 35KY Sports Show. So to dive right into everything, Louisville plays Wake Forest today at 3:30 at Cardinal Stadium. The Cards are looking to get their 5th win of the season. This after they got their 4th win in a big way, a surprising way, a game that I was actually at last week over Pittsburgh. Now remember, on our first show, we said for the Cards to have a successful season, for the Cards to be bowl eligible, for the Cards to possibly save Coach Scott Satterfield's job, they would have to win 3 of the next 6 games against really, really formidable opponents. Honestly, 5 out of those 6 games are against teams that were ranked at some point during the season, and that started with Pittsburgh. Well, in the Pittsburgh game, the Louisville defense really came and showed up and showed out. They had one of their premier performances this entire season, and that's a frustrating part because you'll see Louisville hold UCF to 0 points in the second half, and you'll see Louisville have a good game against South Florida, and you'll see Louisville have a really good game against Pittsburgh where they forced like a gazillion turnovers, it felt like, including a scoop and score by Keitrell Clark. And then they'll lay an egg against a Boston College or lay an egg against a Syracuse or lay an egg. So this game against Wake Forest isn't one that they can lay an egg against because this team can come in and they can put in a whole lot of points. We're talking about a Wake Forest team that scored 31 points pretty much in every single game. A Wake Forest team that comes into as one of the best teams in all of ACC. A Wake Forest team that comes in as the number 10 team in the country. Let's take a listen. This is Scott Satterfield, Coach Satterfield, talking about that very Wake Forest team that they'll see at 3:30 over at Cardinal Stadium today.
Number 10 team in the country coming to our stadium. Huge game for us. It's a great opportunity for our team to continue to try to play really good football, coming off 2 wins in a row in ACC play, and now being able to host one of the best teams in our league, and a top 10 team in the country. I think, hopefully we'll have a great crowd. We need to, if you don't have tickets, go out and get tickets. This is college football is best right here, coming in with the 10th ranked team. I think about home field advantage. I think about, when we went to Syracuse, what kind of advantage Syracuse had playing in that environment. I think about when we got to go to Clemson, what kind of environment that's going to be. It's definitely home field advantage. We need to have that home field advantage here. We need to have the people come out and yell and be loud and crazy, and because it affects teams, it affects offenses. There's no question about it.
And you hear him, he wants the home field advantage to be an advantage for Louisville today against Wake Forest because he understands that this is a daunting task. See, the game against Pittsburgh, the running back, Mr. Israel, he came in, he still did his thing as far as rushing. I think he averaged about 4.5 yards per carry. But see, Syracuse plays a totally different style of game. They're led by their 5th or 6th year quarterback. I mean, he's a guy that's been there forever, Sam Hartman, and they do this slow motion read option type thing that is super effective. Like I said, they've scored over 30 in every single game. And so in Louisville's case, to win this game, expect to see some points. In the Pittsburgh game, we didn't get any points until the fourth quarter. It was 7-7 until the fourth quarter, and then Louisville's defense came alive and helped them score 17 points in that fourth quarter and enable for them to have any chance of beating Wake Forest. One, you have to continue to win the turnover battle. Two, you have to get pressure on Sam Hartman. If you don't, he's going to pick you apart. They've got weapons on the outside, and they have a running game that can make plays. And three, and most important, Malik has got to stay healthy. Again, last week, we saw Malik go out with another injury. And this is concerning because Malik's injuries are concussion-related. Malik's injuries are things that can linger throughout the rest of the season. And if you don't have Malik, you don't have a chance. I'm going to be honest. People like Brock, and Brock is cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, Brock's cool, but he ain't Malik. He can't do the things Malik does. He can't make plays that Malik makes. And everyone that's a Louisville fan and everyone that's been watching the team and everyone that's seen a game this year understands that. Even Coach Satterfield understands. And so Malik missed a couple of plays at different parts of the game last week against Pittsburgh, and Coach Satterfield had something to say about that. Here's Coach Satterfield talking about why we saw Brock in more instances than we probably would like have seen last week against Pittsburgh.
What kind of went behind those decisions to kind of
I think well, Malik was still getting checked out at halftime, so when we came back out, Malik wasn't cleared yet, so Brock was going to go. They're still checking Malik out. And then really probably the second play, they came to me and said, all right, he's good to go. But we just, kept Brock out there, for a few more plays, finished it. And then that's when Malik came back out. And I think his helmet may have came off at some point. We put Brock in. He got hit early in the first half and got a little woozy, and Brock comes in. So it was really based on a little bit of both, but based on Malik's injury, and then Brock was in there. We just left him in, and then we'd put Malik back in. So again, we got a lot of confidence in both players. I thought they both made plays for us. A big time throw Brock had on the third down the sideline, and again, it'll take both of them, as we finish out this season.
And I didn't want to hear that. It'll take both of them to finish out the rest of the season it wasn't something as a fan and as a person who really wants to see the team succeed, something that you really want to hear. No, when you have two quarterbacks, you don't have none. And so you really want one to play, and I want the more talented, more experienced guy that I trust in more in Malik Cunningham to be able to finish games and to be able to finish the season. But just the way he's taking hits and the way he's had this lingering concussion thing lasting, and how serious concussions are being taken, not just at the college level, but even at the professional level, this is something to keep an eye on. Really keep an eye on to see what will happen with Malik Cunningham moving forward the rest of the season. Like I said, Louisville plays the number 10 team in the country, Wake Forest, today at 3:30 over there at Cardinal Stadium. You heard Coach. He wants you to come out, have it jam-packed, be loud, and try to give us a home field advantage against a team that, quite frankly, is a really, really good team in Wake Forest, a really, really good team in Wake Forest that wants to continue to have a chance at an ACC championship, and they can't have that chance if they lose to Louisville. So they're going to come out all systems go. They're going to come out firing, and they're going to come out knowing that this is a Louisville team that's desperate and that's still looking for bowl eligibility and still trying to play their hearts out for a coach, that they could be coaching for his job. So that's going to be something to watch. We got Cardinals basketball as well. Coach Kenny Payne and his team were able to suit it up and play in a scrimmage. Well, a red-white scrimmage against each other. Now they have an exhibition game against Lenore Ryan on Sunday at 2 o'clock. The Lenore Ryan Bears, are coached by former Cardinal Everett Sullivan. Kenny Payne loves this game. Kenny Payne is loving to see what his players will look like in a game against another team, right? Like, this is the first time that we'll see the Cards. Now, we saw the red-white scrimmage. It was cool. We saw some good things or whatever, but Coach Kenny Payne is excited about playing against his former teammate. Everett Sullivan is a player that played for Louisville and played in Louisville during the Kenny Payne era when they were winning championships and played with KP. And Coach Payne was asked about how did this game kind of come about, and here's what he had to say about scheduling a game against his former teammate.
As you know, me and Everett were teammates. when I took the job, one of the things I talked about was looking out for our brothers, the family. And Everett called and said, let's play. Everett, let's do it. Just don't beat me too bad. But no, if it's an opportunity to help one of our own, why not? Why not? If it's an opportunity to bring somebody home, why not? So that's why we did it.
This goes into, once again, what I was talking about, that alumni connection that simply just wasn't there at Louisville. The fact that Everett was able to call Coach Kenny Payne and get this game scheduled in a blink of an eye and make it happen is something that just simply wasn't happening under previous regimes at Louisville. And that is, once again, connecting all the dots. That is the first thing, and that's how you build a foundation of the fan base and trust in the fan base, seeing familiar faces and former players coming in and out of the Yum Center, coming in and out of the city of Louisville, coming in and out of, maybe their favorite restaurant or whatever. That is how you continue to build camaraderie with your fan base, something that the previous regime just, quite frankly, didn't do a very good job of. And so that's what I love. I continue to love that about Coach Kenny Payne and what he's doing at the University of Louisville. Some notes that also KP said was Mike James and Jalen Withers may not play, and that's not a good sign, because the fact that the season is approaching and these injuries, we kind of need the guys to tighten up and get ready. I really want to see what Mike James looks like out on the floor, simply because Mike James was a highly touted freshman last year, missed all of last season with the devastating injury, and he is a guy that's been talked about that's going to play a major role in this team. And we know Jalen Withers is going to play a major role because he's played a major role the last few years. And to continue to see his growth and development, he continue to see how his game has gotten better and better. And I want to see what Mike James can contribute as a big 6'6" guard, wing, forward type guy, what he can do out there on the floor. Now, we know the anchor and the foundation of this team is going to be defense, right? Defense wins championships. We don't know who is a primary scorer. We don't know who can really shoot. We don't really know much about this team besides what you saw in the red-white scrimmage, and it was a scrimmage. But Coach Kenny Payne continues to harp. He said, if I don't know nothing else about this team, I know my team can play some defense. I know my team can get after it. I know my team can play really, really hard. Here is Coach Kenny Payne on the defensive strategy that he has with this team and the conversation that he actually had with Adidas about the new jerseys.
And Adidas was here last week, and they were showing us their jerseys, new jerseys that they are doing for us and stuff. And as I was looking at it, and everybody talks about they really like the old stuff, and as I looked at it, I wonder if we could put defense wins on the shorts, because kids need to know this generation thinks everything is offensive minded. Well, you're not winning just off offense. The teams that are winning championships, no matter what the sport, they're dominant defensively. And when I look at Louisville and think about Louisville and think about my history at Louisville, it was all built on what we did defensively.
Defense, defense, defense. And when I think about Louisville basketball, I also think about defense and three-pointers and dunks, right? Like, so that's what I want to see. That's what I like to hear from my coach, that defense is going to be the foundation of this team, and we're going to play an exciting brand of basketball. I cannot be mad at that at all, because I believe Coach Kenny Payne, and he brings an old school lunch pail mentality to a team that just simply didn't play hard for long stretches of the season last year. And even though a lot of those players are gone and a bunch of players are here, to hear that old school mentality, to hear that defensive first mentality, to hear that we're going to play an exciting brand of basketball. We've got guys dunking the basketball, something that we struggled to do. And we'll figure out our shooting problems. But one thing we know that we're going to be able to do is be long and be active on the defensive end of the ball. I love everything about that from Coach Kenny Payne. And another thing that he said about this exhibition against Lenoir-Rhyne on Sunday at 2 o'clock at the Yum Center is that it's not about the score. It's not about winning and losing in this game, because we still have a lot of things. He's still building a program at Louisville, and he put it out there. He's like, yo, I don't know what the score will be, but it's not about wins and losses. It's about learning a lesson at the end of the day. So here's Coach Kenny Payne about wanting to learn lessons after this scrimmage takes place.
then I think we're all excited to play somebody else. We've seen each other since June or July, whatever we started. Now it's time to see us against somebody else. And let me say this again, this isn't win or lose. I'm trying to establish a culture. And for me, and what I'm trying to get these kids to understand is that this is win or learn. We have to learn what winning basketball is. We have to learn about ourselves. We have to learn what it is to be a good teammate. We have to learn to be able to play together. We're all learning this. This isn't the finished product. This is going to be winning and learning.
Absolutely. This is not a finished product. And he's preparing. And so you can take that a couple of different ways. You can take that as, man, maybe my team ain't that good to start off the year. And maybe they won't be that good to start the year off. But I bet you from November to February, you'll see this team grow leaps and bounds. And by the time February comes and conference tournament play comes and you're fighting for an NCAA spot, I believe Coach Kenny Payne will have this team right where they need to be and right where you see exponential growth from November to February. And I can't be mad at that. I am not mad at that, not one iota, because I really have faith in Coach Kenny Payne and his staff. We've got a jam-packed show the rest of the way. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and after the break, we'll have Mark Spiegel, the founder and creator of 502 Circle, an NIL collective that is helping out the student athletes at the University of Louisville. You're tapped in with the 3-5 KY Sports Show with Jeff Lightsy Jr. We'll be right back after the break. Her name is Nelson & Nelson Roofing and Handyman Service is a Christian-owned and operated, fully insured roofing company looking to help you put that perfect new roof on your home. With over 25 years of experience, they are offering $500 off right now for all new roof installs. Call them right now and let them know that Jeff sent you at 502-712-0876. That's 502-712-0876. Welcome back to the 3-5 KY Sports Show with myself, Jeff Lightsy Jr., right here on 93.9 The Ville. We got Jeff Houston in the booth, James Black on the boards, and we have a special guest on the phone right now. He is doing something that's pretty remarkable with the athletes over there at the University of Louisville. We've got Mark Spiegel, the founder and creator of the 502 Circle NIL Collective. Mark, how's it going?
Hey, guys, good morning. Easy to remember. Everybody's name starts with a J.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good to know, man. You got Jeff, James, and Jeff again. Yeah. Well, Mark, I want to ask you, man, the 502 Circle, what is it? How it kind of came about, and what is like your role with the athletes?
Yeah, so it's an NIL collective, and collectives are they're entities that are independent from universities, but really popped up not too long after NIL went live, July 1 of last year. So,
okay,
what you see is the majority, if not all, of the major Power 5 schools have one. Some have multiple ones. Kind of a trend at some schools are collectives that are specific to a particular sport. But what it is it's a vehicle that allows fans and businesses to get involved in NIL and basically look to raise money, and then in turn the collective will do NIL deals with the student athletes. So for us, obviously being a U of L collective, U of L student athletes who are on campus are the primary source. In fact, the only source of the deals that we'll do. But it's a great thing because it allows everyone who's associated with the program and with who's a fan and people who have an affinity to get involved more so than just buying a ticket and attending a game.
Absolutely. Now, Mark, NIL is fairly new. Was something, what made you want to kind of get into this space? Because this is a space that you have to coordinate with the athletes, coordinate kind of with the university, and coordinate with NCAA rules. So what made you want to get inside and get into this business?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So for me, I'm a longtime fan, grew up in Louisville, went to school there, and I think like a lot of people, especially latter part of last year, I was a bit disappointed with the direction and my nature is not just to point out problems, but it's how do I raise my hand and be part of the solution. So, I sent an email to Vince Tyre and to Dr. Bendapudi, little did I know the week that I sent that email, both of them would resign. And so,
yeah, it was a crazy week.
Exactly. But the crux of it is, look, I'm in a position where, I want to volunteer. I want to be part of getting this thing back to where we all want it to be. And I didn't know what that necessarily looked like. So you fast forward to May. I live in Atlanta. I'm at an Atlanta Hawks game with my next door neighbor who, is a prominent lawyer who, he's gone on to set up collectives at Alabama, University of Texas, and what have you. But we're sitting there, and I'm in his box, and I'm sitting next to a guy who ended up, I think he was the number 2 or 3 pick in the NBA draft, Jabari Smith, and I make a comment joking around with he and his dad that. I said, how are you going to feel taking a pay cut when you sign your rookie deal? I know they're paying you well in Auburn. And he goes, they said basically the university didn't pay, but there was a group they call themselves a collection that they paid us quite well. And so I didn't think anything of it until 3 days later. I'm dropping my daughter off at a volleyball tournament. And I pop on the sports radio, and lo and behold, they're broadcasting from the University of Georgia spring football game. And I'm listening to him interview this guy of this group that just recently formed called the Classic City Collective. So I'm listening to him talk, and I start connecting dots. This had to be what the collection was. He just had the word slightly wrong. Mm-hmm. So, take that, make a couple calls, realize we don't have one at U of L, and talking to my wife, we talked it over for a couple days, and we said, hey, maybe this is an opportunity for me to help the program in a sense. So, my background is in technology and in business, and so the whole idea was how do we create a digital engine to engage the fan base, engage the community, do so in a way that is very transparent and complies with all state law as well as NCAA regulations, and do it in a way that's first class and does right by the kids. So, you can see that was the latter part of May that we really discovered it. We announced it a couple weeks later publicly, and then launched it within 3 months of the idea even being created. So we've moved quickly, but it's been a lot of fun. I mean, I joke around that I'm working harder on this and making $0. So it's obviously what can we do to give back, and how do we do this to make the U of L student athletes, put them first, and also make sure that the U of L brand is protected, if not put in a limelight. So that's kind of the history, and now we're end of October, and feels like every single sport for the most part is either live or about to go live. So it's a fun time of year. Absolutely.
Once again, we're talking to Mark Spiegel of the 502 Circle, an NIL collective that helps out the student athletes at the University of Louisville. Now, Mark, what is your thought on it? This is a question since you're in the NIL business. What is your thought on the people saying, oh, NIL, specifically with Louisville, and you've seen the recruit, like the success they've had on the recruiting trail, but they'll say that's directly tied to NIL, and they're saying, oh, Louisville's just playing a bunch of players, and that's why they're getting all these 5 stars. Is that something, like you being a part of NIL collective, is that something that offends you? Is that something that you don't care about? Or what are kind of your thoughts on that?
No, it definitely doesn't offend me. I think we all have to look at, and I think part of the reason people are saying that there's still a group of people that feels like these athletes don't deserve to make money.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
That the scholarship is enough, and you get a little stipend and things like that. But I'm 41. I'll be 42 here in a couple weeks, and I remember writing a paper in college basically saying you can't pay for groceries with a degree, and I'm very pro education, but it was all about, should college athletes get paid? That was 20 years ago that I wrote that paper. So, I'm very much in favor of student athletes being able to monetize their personal brands. I think, you see kids working harder on, who they are, what they want to be, and those are things that are happening earlier in their lives. But, I think we'd all be remiss to say, hey, does it play an impact in recruiting? It's obviously not. NCAA's our rules prohibit it from paying student athletes and basically inducing them to sign with a school. But, look, I think who knows what's happening out there across the country. I think what we've tried to do, and I think U of L has done a good job of creating an infrastructure, not necessarily the university, but just those associated with of creating a very positive NIL infrastructure so that we are able to to compete on a level playing field. And I think it's interesting because you have kids today, especially their parents. The questions may not just be about playing time or may not just be about graduation rates. Mm-hmm. And so I think you add a new element to the conversation, and I think that's good because at the end of the day, you have billions and billions of dollars changing hands, and the people who are doing a lot of it have not gotten to play a role in that, and I think now they do. And I think the other part is you're seeing businesses, whether national or local businesses, seeing the value of aligning themselves with the right student athletes and having them promote and be part of who they are. And I think that's only a good thing.
Absolutely. Once again, we're talking to Mark Spiegel of the 502 Circle NIL Collective. Now, Mark, on your team, you've got some heavy hitters as far as notable U of L alumni. We had Larry O'Bannon on last week. He talked about the 502 Circle. He's a part of the board. I think you got Adrian McCalltree, maybe even David Padgett. Like, how did it go? How did you come about getting in contact and having those former athletes be a part of your collective?
Yeah, so when originally thinking of this, I mean, and there's other people involved, and I leaned on folks that I know just to bounce ideas off of early on. But Louisville's a unique community, and in forming this, we knew it was not going to be just 4 or 5 really rich boosters who pledge a couple $1 million a piece like you see at some schools. So we wanted to make sure that the folks who put on the jerseys, who love the community, who want to give to the community, want to give to the university, we want to make sure that we attracted them and invited them into the circle. So you mentioned Larry and Angel and David, and there's a number of others, and we'll add more. We'll make some announcements here in the next couple of weeks where there's some additional ones. But we wanted a diverse group of people, not only the sport that they played and maybe their age, but also what they're doing with their careers now. And so obviously you mentioned Larry. I mean, he's recently retired from playing. David has gone on to do great things in the financial space, but we wanted those folks to be part of a group think approach. And it's not about me. And what better way is there to symbolize being part of the community than invite people who are part of the community and who people genuinely know and care for, and have them be part of this and not just as figureheads, but really be part of strategy and as we go to market, being able to educate folks in their peer groups and attract new people to the fray. So we're excited. I think it's been awesome getting to work with them and get to know some of them. I knew it was funny. David Padgett was actually my first outreach, and what was funny was we launched when we made the announcement. The morning we made the announcement, I was actually in Panama in Central America the entire month of June. So I was down there in an office space, and we made the announcement, and I literally get an email from David as I'm sending him a message on LinkedIn to talk. So I feel like that's a bit of an omen there. So he's been awesome, but yeah, all of them on down to Angel and then you saw, at Louisville Live, you obviously saw Master P wearing the 502 Circle gear. So we're not going to stop adding people to the circle. It's just that, their priorities have to be aligned with what we're doing, which is putting the kids first, doing right by the community, and doing right by the university.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And just a few more questions, but I do want to ask you, you said, the circle can't be directly linked to the university, but what is that relationship like with the university, or is there a relationship? I know you're obviously with the relationship with the players, but what is that relationship like with the school, with what you're trying to do?
Yeah, it's interesting, and it's evolving up until, there was new guidance sent at the end of this week. Mm-hmm. So, where this started a few months ago is obviously even different than where it is right now. But yeah, I wanted the university to know who I am and what we're doing, and so there was a number of conversations, had there on up to the athletic director, and there continues to be dialogue. I think it's important because universities have a duty for compliance, even though, we're not technically part of the university. University has to make sure that we're complying with all regulation. So there needs to be dialogue. Now you have this week that additional guidance came out from the NCAA that universities can actually be part of, in some ways, raising money for collectives. And so there's going to be evolution, of this as we go. And I think one of the reasons we wanted to create a digital environment was because it allowed for flexibility and being able to pivot on the dime, as opposed to, some of these other organizations that, they build these robust processes and depends on people and all of that stuff. And when guidance or rules change, it's much easier to steer a small boat than it is a mega yacht. So, we'll continue to exploit that and for benefit. But yeah, I think the university's been great. I think the overarching message you hear is how do we help the kids, right? And that aligns with what we're trying to do, which is helping kids. So we're aligned philosophically, and look, I think there's a lot of positives right now to be part of the U of L community. I think that the direction is certainly on the uptick, and I think those things will show themselves very, very soon.
Absolutely, absolutely. Once again, we're talking to Mark Spiegel of the 502 Circle NIL Collective. So, Mark, I want to get you out on this, man. Just where can the people find you? What do you offer the fans that want to help contribute to the NIL Collective, and where can they go to possibly donate or whatever moving forward?
Yeah, great. So I appreciate a chance to plug. So 502circle.com. On that, you'll find two different options. You'll find the ability to become a member, no different than you would a gym or something like that. And depending on your level of support, there's swag and there's opportunities. And I think it's important for your listeners to know that what they see on there now, we're going to continue to add amenities to that for our members.
Okay.
It's not it's not finite as it stands right now. But the other part, and I think this will excite a lot of people, especially ones who want to get involved more lucratively. But we're in the final stages of securing our nonprofit status, and so people will actually be able to donate and to receive a tax benefit for that donation. So that's something to keep your eye on. Hopefully that gets done in the month of November, and it's more lucrative. But yeah, we've been fortunate. The support for members has been really good. I think the engine works, and again, wanting to utilize technology, we wanted to make sure that it was easy for people to find us and easy for people to sign up. So, I think that I had a friend go through it and told me that it took them a little over 20 seconds from the moment they clicked the button to join to actually becoming a member. And so that's good, right? We want to make it easy. The other part is we want to make it easy for businesses to get involved. And so, you hear a lot from local businesses on, I understand, I see NIL, I don't really know, how can it help my business or how do I even do it? And so businesses can obviously connect with us on that same website and we'll help them along the way. But the other part is we had folks, and we didn't necessarily anticipate it, but we created our own merchandise line, and the store is on there. You can, the same swag that people get for becoming members, people can actually purchase. And so we actually have had more people purchase the gear than we expected. So it's not a bad thing. So we need to continue to come out with new gear and iterate, which we'll do. So I need to get Master P's sweatshirt on there, because that was a custom thing with all of the bling on the sweatshirt, and people keep asking for it. So we need to. Hopefully, he didn't copyright that, and we can add that to the store.
Absolutely.
But no, it's the other part is, we have a lot of people who you had mentioned Larry or Angel or David. I think if folks know people involved. You can always reach out to them and say, hey, tell me more. How do I get involved? Anything I can do? And this is for the community. It's for all of us. It's for the fans, and let's not let anything stand in the way of growing this and really helping these student athletes.
Absolutely. Well, Mark, I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to talk to us about NIL. I feel like we all got a little smarter just listening to you talk about NIL and really how that's going to help continue to benefit and help our Cardinals and help the university. We'll be right back, and thank you again, Mark, of the 502 Circle. You can go, like you said, 502circle.com. We'll be right back after this break with more from the 35KY Sports Show with Jeff Lightsy Jr. right here on 93.9 The Ville. Nelson & Nelson Roofing and Handyman Service is a Christian-owned and operated, fully insured roofing company looking to help you put that perfect new roof on your home. With over 25 years of experience, they are offering $500 off right now for all new roof installs. Call them right now and let them know that Jeff sent you at 502-712-0876. That's 502-712-0876. And welcome back. I am Jeff Lightsy Jr. here with the 3-5 KY Sports Show right here on 93.9 The Ville. Jeff Houston in the booth, James Black on the boards. And I had to play straightening because my male Bulldogs got a good 14-3 win over the Manual Crimson last night and had to do a little bit of straightening. You know what I'm saying? We came into game 5-4 and folks thought we was dead in the water. But shout out to Daniel Sweeney, Max Gainey, and the rest of the guys. My boys Eric Palmer, Jalen Kemp, and Devin Gentry on the coaching staff. But before we get into that, because I got some more about that game, we have a special guest on the phone with us today, all the way from Simmons College, the HBCU, the only HBCU right here in Louisville, Kentucky. We have Miss Joy Craig from their Student Affairs Leadership Team. Miss Joy, how's it going?
I'm doing good. So happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's no problem at all. And over at Simmons, you all have a big homecoming week coming up next week. Can you tell me about some of the events and some of the things you guys have planned for next week or this upcoming week?
Absolutely. So, yes, this is our homecoming week. We are super excited here at Simmons to be gearing up for a week full of events. But what I really want to tune in and talk about is Saturday. Saturday is going to be jam-packed and filled with everything. We're starting our Saturday off with our homecoming basketball game. And we would like to invite the community to come out. Tickets can be purchased. They're only $7. But we want to jam-pack and fill up the gymnasium at the St. Stephen's Family Life Center at 1 o'clock for our homecoming basketball game. But that's not where it ends. So we're having our 2022 homecoming step show, which will be hosted by Tyler Leapley from Star's hit show P-Valley with our national recording artist Tusi performing live. And so we're inviting everybody to come out at 6 p.m. at the Louisville Memorial Auditorium for a night filled with entertainment featuring wonderful Divine Nine organizations. And then we have a special performance from our HBCU band fraternity, Alpha Omicron Delta. Tickets are available for Eventbrite through Eventbrite for that event. And then we have a discount for our local college students and our high school students. They just need a proper ID to get in. So just go ahead and tune in, purchase your tickets. We would love to see our Louisville community come out and support us because it's going to be a day filled with everything.
Absolutely. Now, Miss Joy, what's it been like on campus for the leadership team and for the alumni and for the people that are a part of Simmons College to have this big-time homecoming week, including that major step show that you just talked about?
Yeah, so I think this is something new. Simmons is on the up and up right now, and so we're bringing something new, a new flair, a new vibe to the city. And then our students on campus are also realizing and enjoying, like, they are taking pride in that this is their HBCU, this is their homecoming. They are very excited. They've been doing everything that they can do to prepare because on campus we're going to have some events for them during the week before the big celebration on Saturday. And so really everybody, faculty, staff, students, and then even the Louisville community has just been doing everything that they can do to just help us prepare for this week.
Absolutely. Now, like you said, Louisville's only HBCU, Simmons College, right here, and you talked about that step show. Now, I'm Greek myself. I am an Alpha. I graduated from Western Kentucky University. So if you've seen the show, just let me know, man. Who's your favorite? If you were a betting woman, who would you say is your favorite heading into the step show on Saturday?
Oh, well, see, now here's where I get a little biased because I'm a Delta.
Okay.
The Epsilon chapter, University of Kentucky. But what I'm going to say is that I don't want to say who I'm picking. How about you all come out to the show and you pick for yourself?
Okay. I can take that answer. Well, Miss Joy, I appreciate you joining us once again. Simmons, it's their homecoming week, and they're looking forward to having you at their basketball game at 1 p.m. at St. Stephen's Family Life Center. And then at 6 p.m., they have their step show. And where's the step show at? One more time. Let me know.
Louisville Memorial Auditorium.
Well, Miss Joy Craig, thank you so much for joining the show, and look forward to seeing a good show on Saturday.
All right. right. Thank you so much. You all have a wonderful day.
And you too. Thank you so much. That was Joy Craig of Simmons College. Now, I played for you, and I'm looking forward to that step show. Hopefully, I can get out and get over there. But I played for you guys straightening because I talked about my Louisville male Bulldogs getting that big time win over Manual. Like, Manual, hey, I have to give it to them. They came into the game 8-1. They came into the game fully confident. They had a freshman quarterback who happens to be the son of the head coach, and they having a spectacular season. But those boys in purple and gold have had 4 losses. That's probably more losses in the regular season than they maybe have had in the last 4 years, right? But they've had a slew of injuries throughout the season. Max Gainey, who holds an offer from Purdue, just got his first game back last week, and Daniel Sweeney, who's got a couple of FBS offers from Central Michigan, and I think he came back for the first time or second. I think it's his first or second game back after 5 weeks, and they looked really, really good. That defense was stout, had 4 turnovers, and I was in the building, and I was able to be on the sideline and really root on my dogs. And I'm biased. Hey, call it what you want. And we are who we are. But here is Daniel Sweeney, who was the MVP, and shoot, he had me turned and ready to go. This was me talking to Daniel Sweeney after the game, after the win over Manual.
Winning MVP of the game. So, got another win over Manual, man. How's it feel?
It feels pretty good. I've been out for 5 weeks. Like I've been saying, 5 weeks is a long time to not be playing football, the game that you love. But since I've been back, I've been trying to give it everything I can. I put my body out on the line today, and I won MVP, and I'm proud of that. Thankful for my team, and we got the dub today.
Absolutely, man. It's not your first MVP of this game, man. How's it feel to get another one?
It feels good to run it back. What they call that, a repeat. I love it. I love it.
So with this team, you're healthy. Gainey's healthy. You guys are getting healthy at the right time. What's that mean for your team moving forward?
That means we got a lot of potential. A lot of teams still got to play us, and they got to know what they're lining up against. It's not just that you just going to have to account for me. You're going to have to account for my whole offense now.
Absolutely,
straight like
man.
that.
Congratulations, bro. Hey, good luck to you the rest of the season.
Do you hear him? Do you have to account not just for me, but for my whole offense? And I like the Bulldogs headed into the 6A playoffs that start next week. I like Mayo and their chances against pretty much any team in all of 6A now. We know the Kings of the Crop are the defending state champions, and St. Xavier, those guys are playing really, really well. Their coach, Coach Wallace, came from Bowling Green where he won 5 state championships in the 5A, and now he's at St. X where he won his first state championship in 6A last season, and they beat Mayo earlier this season along with a lot of other teams. But at the same time, like I said, the Bulldogs are getting healthy at the right time. And in talking about in this, by the way, this was the 9th win in the row at over Manual for the Bulldogs. So I don't even know if the Barrel remembers what it looks like to be over in this part of town. I think it's made a permanent residence over there on Preston Highway. But nonetheless, we've got some really big time 6A football matchups going throughout this week. We've got Southern at St. X. That's going to be what it's going to be. I think St. X, that's on Thursday at 7 p.m. at St. X. I think St. X will get a pretty good, easy victory over Southern. And, no shout out to Southern, but it's not really a game that's really conducive for their team and their players. Mayo will play PRP at Mayo. It will be on Friday at 7:30 against, like I said, the Mayo Bulldogs. Now, PRP's got some players. PRP's got a guy committed, a receiver committed to Kentucky. But like I said, the guys from Mayo are back. Daniel Sweeney, who had been suffering from a shoulder injury, had been out the last 5 weeks. His shoulder was wrapped up, but it didn't stop him from running all up and down the Manual Crimson defense. Now, don't get me wrong. Manual's got some players, and they play Fern Creek at Manual. They still finished the regular season at 8-2, which is a really, really good regular season. They've got a young quarterback, like I said, true freshman. And they also have a young running back, number 22. I don't know his name, but he was a dog. He was a ball player. He was someone that really was giving Mayo problems. And I think that if they would have scored a touchdown on that first possession, and if you were at the game, if you don't, you'd have no idea what I'm talking about. But if they would have scored a touchdown on that first possession, I think the game could have been different. But instead, they threw an interception, and they never quite got back in the red zone and got close enough to score points after that, and that was really tough for them. And that is something that they will be able to do. So I really like I said, I like the Bulldogs' chances going into the 6A playoffs. I'm really excited about this year's playoffs because unlike other years, this is a 6A playoff run that could see any team win. It's kind of a toss-up between Male and St. X and all the other teams throughout the 6A. It's going to be interesting to see what they're able to do. And don't forget, we also have a football game at the collegiate level. Coach Scott Satterfield, the U of L boys, they're going to play against the number 10 team in the country at 3:30 over at Cardinal Stadium, Wake Forest. They're coming into this game looking to get a win over Louisville. They're coming into this game looking to honestly steamroll Louisville, and that is something that is going to be taking place. Don't forget also, on Sunday, Coach Kenny Payne and his boys have a exhibition game against Lenore Rhine over at the Yum Center. You have been tapped in with the 35KY Sports Show with Jeff Lightsy Jr. Thank you guys for tapping in with us. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms, 35KY Sports on Facebook and 35KY Sports on Twitter. Also, my social media handles at JLightsy7. That is on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever you social media platform of preference of your choice. You can follow me at JLightsy7. Thank you guys for tuning in once again for another great episode. And as we always say, we will see you next time.